beautiful people. Welcome to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. I am Mrs. Best, and we are here to go over our weekly recap of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Again, apologies to everybody. I know that the show did air last week. I am doing the best I can. I've been quite busy and just celebrated a 13-year wedding anniversary, but I'm back. So there's going to be lots of recaps coming today. If you're watching when we're no longer live, thank you for hanging in there. I appreciate you. I have a lot of shows coming and coming back, but this episode is titled "On My Mama." This was season 13, episode 7. I know they're kind of going viral and keep making the shade room and things like that. It seems with Love and Hip Hop like every week, but I'm just not that impressed with the season. We start this episode with Queen Key and Rennie Rucci. I think it's cool the two girls get along. I don't really have much to say about it. Queen Key seems to just be mellow. Queen Key is chilling. Queen Key is like, I'm on TV, I'm gonna build my brand. And I like that. I do kind of like how music is coming back into the whole Love and Hip Hop thing. So I will give them that. Now, 24 Hours, the artist and producer, his wife, I believe she goes by Selma Slim, and Jock and Kendra, they meet. And I'm always concerned for like new couples when they meet with Jock and Kendra, just because I'm like, Jock and Kendra are not the best example of a marriage at all. They should have never gotten married. I kind of look at them as a joke. Individually, great business people, but together, I'm just kind of like, I don't care for y'all. I really do not care for y'all. But Jock and Kendra and all of them meet, and pretty much Selma Slim explains the beef between her and Erica Banks. So Erica Banks said to Selma Slim when they tried to get them all in the studio in a previous episode that she didn't want to work with Selma Slim, who had been trying to get a feature with her, because she felt like their sounds didn't match. She didn't like her sound, which is fair, which is totally fair. Selma Slim took it to be personal, but now she's explaining that she believes the reason to be that Erica Banks don't want to work with her and is acting this way is because Erica Banks was signed to 1501. During the time that Erica Banks was going through it with 1501, they were trying to sign Selma Slim as Erica Banks' replacement. However, Selma Slim was like, I didn't want to sign with them, which honestly, anybody signing to 1501 today, you're stupid. Because why you want to sign with the label that trashes every artist that they get when the artist starts to ask questions that are important as it relates to business? So I can kind of understand why Selma would pass it up, but I also don't understand why Selma's being so sensitive. You're married to a producer that's well-respected. You have lots of connections. Go work with other people. Now you talking crap about Erica Banks and her tour and how she's on a stripper tour and all of this. You wasn't thinking that when you were needing the feature, Selma. So stop acting funny, accept that y'all not going to work together and move on. Let it die. It's petty. It's petty as hell. Now, moving forward, y'all, Kendra, Bambi, and Ashley meet up, and she's sick of Zayn giving his mom money. I don't like that Ashley's bringing this up. I kind of feel like this is like not in good taste to bring up your complaints about your mother-in-law on a national television show. I can understand if it was like back in the day, Love and Hip Hop, when it was more legit, but in today's time, I just don't have much respect for her bringing it up on camera. But she feels like Zayn gave his mama too much money. And this is where we learn that Zayn's father is not his father. So the man who raised Zayn as his own is not Zayn's biological father. Zayn did not know this, but Ashley knows and has been talking to the biological father. And apparently it's this big secret in the household and amongst the family. Now, she says that she feels like Zayn is searching for his identity, which I think we could all tell. But I don't feel like this was appropriate for her to expose. I'm not saying just because they're on TV, it shouldn't have been exposed, but I just feel like the fact that she's doing it before he gets the opportunity to, just as a wife, I would not do that. I feel like some stuff you have to respect and allow your spouse to have, if that makes sense, but that's just me. But we're going to come back to that. They move on to Scrappy and Mama D, and these two fools and Ashley are talking, and they end up mentioning the christening, and Bambi is baffled. Bambi's like, I had no idea that my children was christened, which I personally feel like she should have known. Anything religious, I feel like both parents should have a say-so on. And it shouldn't just be what one parent wants. Like, just because you're the mom doesn't mean the kid's religion is going to be what you want it to be. If you're going to get with someone with a different religion than you, then, you know, acknowledge it, talk, things like that. But we know that Bambi and Scrappy are both hella immature, in my opinion, as it comes to each other. Shayna said, you're supposed to be celebrating your anniversary. Hi, Shayna. Please subscribe to Shayna, you guys. I just adore her. She's enjoyable. Her lives are funny. I think everybody would enjoy her content. Check her out. I did celebrate my anniversary on Friday and yesterday. I might drive to Tahoe today after these lives. That's why I'm here early. I actually did a lot, y'all. I went to the gym this morning. My homework is done. My house is clean. I'm like, yes. But yes, I did celebrate the anniversary. You're hella funny. My husband is still in the gym, actually. So I was like, let me sneak on YouTube real quick because I haven't been on YouTube. And to the artists waiting on music reactions, they coming. I'm sorry, they come. But Ashley called Zane to confirm that this was a christening so that Bambi didn't freak out. And of course he confirmed. I don't know. Like, Ashley just seems to want to be a part of everything. She seems to like the pointless beef with Carly Red last season, the pointless beefs that she had with other people previous seasons. Like, Ashley just seems to always find a way to be relevant and on the screen. She's kind of getting on my nerves. She knows as a mom that would upset Bambi, so she could have told Bambi with a little more decorum. You know, I just feel like Ashley be doing messy stuff and then trying to hide her hand, if that makes sense. And I'm kind of tired of it. And her voice irritates me. It just does. But Queen Key, Selma Slim, and Rennie Rucci are in the studio. And this is supposed to be where Rennie Rucci is making peace. Or Rennie Rucci and them are trying to get peace between Selma and Erica. But as we know, if Erica have a beef with you, she needs a cool off period. She's not coming. She did not show up. They're trying to make it a thing. But to me, I'm like, who cares? She didn't show up. It seems like Selma's just so pressed to like be relevant as it relates to Erica. And that irritates me. That genuinely irritates me. But we move forward to Bambi and Zale. And I'm sorry, y'all, I am shipping through this review. So if you want to comment something, feel free. I will happily slow it down and acknowledge comments. But Bambi's talking to Zale because allegedly a girl wrote Bambi an email or a DM. She also wrote Zale this email and DM talking about Ray, who was Bambi's fiance. But we all knew that shit wasn't gonna last. Like, you said you wanted to be celibate until marriage, and then he put a ring on it less than 3 months later. Like, we knew this shit would not last. But I guess the girl messaged Zale and Bambi, and I don't know. It's interesting because Zelle was very hard on Carly Red when she went through the same thing with Tilo last season, a fast relationship leading to marriage, all this crazy stuff. And Zelle was so cruel. But when it comes to Bambi, because that's his real friend, he say he gonna give her a little bit more grace and feels away. I don't want Zelle Swag on the show. Like, no shade. Zelle Swag is going to give a bad rep to the LGBTQ community with all this bouncing, ping pong, and back and forth and his toxic masculinity and all that bullshit. Like, he make the LGBTQ community look bad. Zale Swag, in my opinion, is a joke as it relates to the black men. And I don't like the way he moved with females, especially black women. Like, I'm not saying Carly Red is not big enough to know better. But if your reason for being cruel to somebody when they're going through something is just because they're not your real friend, you're a clown yourself. So I'm kind of tired of him. I wish he'd like go back to showing his clothing line or something like that. Like, Zelle Swag has not done it for me in a while. But Bambi, just dump this man. If you really trying to stop being a thotty and you really want to stop being known for being in hot tubs and hopping from eggplant emoji to eggplant emoji, then dump him. It's okay to dump a man. Just because he made a commitment and you went public doesn't mean anybody's going to look at you crazy. We looked at you crazy for staying with Scrappy for so long and thinking that it was a prize to be his wife when you was really just upgraded side chick. I'm sorry. But I've started to like Bambi. She's grown on me, and I want Bambi to like make better choices as it relates to men because she's too old to be acting this way. She really is. And it seems like she's grown everywhere but how she dates. That's just my opinion. If y'all feel differently, let me know. But please dump this Ray face man, old future wannabe look-alike motherfucker. Please get rid of him. Please. But we get to Spice's performance, and she has Scrappy perform as well, which does make sense. I do like the two performing, and I do like their little song they have together. But Mama D is so dramatic. She asked to speak with Scrappy separately. And this is where she drops T, and she's dramatic. She said, because I just can't. Oh, Lord, I need to talk to you in private. How you going to talk to him in private still on camera, Mama D? Mama D is funny. Mama D is funny. But she drops T that she saw Mendices with a woman in a restaurant. And, you know, Rashida and Kirk are there. And Rashida's like, I'm disgusted that Yandy's man's all over the streets. Rashida, be disgusted with your own man and go get tested for BV, UTIs, everything that you could. Because Rashida, Kirk was in a hot tub with the Bam and a couple other bitches in no neck. Okay? He didn't care. Kirk was so much in the streets that he was publicly cheating on you, and you're disgusted with rumors about Mendices. But your man was in hot tubs with potentially not enough chlorine. Like, stop. Rashida has no leg to stand on, and that's why I'm genuinely surprised that she has stayed on Love and Hip Hop for this long, because her love is a joke, her relationship's a joke, her family at this point is a joke. It looked like one of her sons about to get locked up. I'm torn on that situation with Kelsey myself, Kirk's daughter, because on one end, the T Hood guy was abusive, but on the other end, it looked like that was what they did in their relationship, like they was just hitting on each other. And then on the other end, I'm like, if you know you and your man be fighting like that, why would you call your brothers knowing they're going to do something? But then on the other end, I'm like, why y'all have to shoot the man in his back? You know? So I don't know. The Frost family is a mess and a joke, and I'm sick of them all at this point. I am. Now, Rashida leaves and she makes comments because as soon as she sees Yandy, she skedaddles out of there. Now, I don't care for Yandy either, you guys. I don't. I only respect Yandy's advocacy for the African-American community, and I respect Yandy as a businesswoman. But I don't really like her on reality TV. But in this situation, Yandy hasn't really done shit to Rashida. Rashida went and spoke about Yandy, was throwing digs and subs at Yandy prior to them even having a beef. Yandy finally tries to address the shit, and Rashida acted like Yandy was the problem. This is why people don't like Geminis. I am a Gemini, by the way. My birthday is days from Rashida. So I'm kind of looking at her like, this is why people don't like us. Because why are you moving like this, Rashida? Why are you moving like Donald Trump? Please make it make sense. Like, I don't understand why Rashida's doing this, but she's going to do what she does. And she made a comment about Yandy's breath and BBL. I'd rather have a BBL smell and bad breath, which can easily be remedied, than have a man that's known to have 3 earrings, kids that's shooting each other up for no reason, Nepo babies shooting up the block, and a husband that got his baby mama and the mistress on vacation with me. I would rather have bad breath and a stinking BBL than Rashida's life. But Rashida, that's what she does. So Yandy does make a point, because Rashida does say a lot publicly, but ain't got nothing to say to her face. Rashida's what I like to call a scary bitch. She got a lot to say behind your back, but as soon as she to your face, she scurries off like a little scared mice. Can't understand it. And Yandy's explaining this to Spice, and we know that Spice is unreasonably loyal. Spice is a foreigner. She ain't from here. Spice is like, Rashida and Kirk, they are Atlanta. And in Spice's head. And Spice just want to go wherever the relevancy is. They are Atlanta, but nobody respect bubblegum. No, we don't even know what Kirk's done outside of her music career-wise. Like, I'm not saying they haven't done stuff, but I don't think Spice will ever be fair. Spice will never be fair to, like, when Spice is loyal to somebody, with the exception of a few, she's loyal to them, and that's just what that is. And there's nothing any of us could do to change it. But Yandy drops some tea, and I'm glad she's fighting back. She's like, Rashida want everybody to think she's not that close with Jasmine when they be vacationing together, and they much closer than any of us would think. Yandy, we know. I'm sorry, Yandy. That didn't eat the way you wanted it to. Now, Rashida got Yandy fucked up. I agree, and I'm on Yandy's side with this. However, I'm also feeling like this is somewhat karma for Yandy, because Yandy did Chrissy and Jim Jones this exact same way years ago on season 2 of Love and Hip Hop, the original season. So it's one of those things where I'm kind of like, karma really spun the block on Yandy. She talked shit to all of Mendeecees's exes, including the one she was pregnant with at the same time. She was making fun of other people, wanting us to respect her union. Yandy done lied more times and has done some shady shit on this show. So in some ways, Rashida's her karma, but I just feel like this is stupid and has gone too far. Both Yandy and Rashida have something in common in that they're both lying about the status of their relationship. I think they've both settled and don't feel like starting over. I think they both be cheating on their men, and I think they men be cheating on them. And I don't think anybody cares. I think they have arrangements in their marriages. But that's just my opinion. Let me know if y'all feel differently. But it's like y'all beefing and bickering and going off on each other and doing interviews about each other when you both got the same fucked up marriages. Mendeecees is not a prize. Kirk is definitely not a prize. So it's like, y'all doing all of this for what? I can't. I just can't. But the last thing we gonna talk about for this episode is Ashley and Zane and his mama and the hot mess express that foolery is. So Ashley, as we know, has an issue with Zane's mom and the fact that Ashley's husband, Zane, barely her husband, because I could have swore she just had him out the house last season and wanted to divorce. But Ashley has a problem with her husband giving his mom money. All right. She tries to talk to his mom about it. His mom did get very disrespectful as soon as money was mentioned. And his mom mentioned a credit card that Ashley knew nothing about. His mom mentioned that she has access to bank accounts that belong to Ashley and Zane. And Ashley brings up the fact that the mom lied about Zane's dad and who the dad really was. And the mom gets mad. And Ashley, I didn't like that she brought this up on camera just because she was mad that the mom was like, and bitch, you don't know about this card and that card and that card. I do not have a difficult mother-in-law. Thank you, Kathy. Sometimes she pops in these lives. But I genuinely could say she's not difficult. I haven't it's not been perfect. We've had our issues, but she's not an impossible mother-in-law. She's very reasonable. Some people do have difficult mother-in-laws, and I get that. I'm all for respecting your elders, though. I feel like just because that lady went low, it was time to maybe take Michelle Obama's advice in this situation. With your elders, when they go low, you go high. When anybody else, fine. If you got to go to hell with them, go. But I was really annoyed with how Ashley handled that as a whole. First of all, the verbiage. If your husband is giving money to his mom, right? I personally don't see an issue with that. There's been times throughout the year my husband has given money to his mom, not heavy amounts, but he has given money to his mama. I don't give a fuck. I don't. However, I'm very independent. I have my own job, degree, all of that. But there's been times I've not worked and just did the housewife life. My husband's helped his mom. Who cares? Why are you upset at that? It made me think maybe Ashley is bothered by this because the mom is disrespectful. What if the mom was sweet and kissing the ass of Ashley and asking her for money? Would she care? Would she give it? Because in some ways I look at Ashley like, girlfriend, you were in the same boat as Zane's mom. You come in as Zane's mom for the type of mom she is. And Zane's mom came right back at Ashley like, your daughter don't like you and you wasn't there. And Ashley admitted, she's like, yeah, I wasn't the best mom. I wasn't always there for my kids, but I can admit it. And I'm like, how do you want this woman to be accountable when you yourself are in a situation? You may not have lied about the paternity of the father, and the mom didn't have to come at her. You got 2 kids by 2 different men. And I know a lot of women like to say, I can't help it. I've made mistakes. But it's not a flex to have 2 kids by 2 different people. It's just not. It's just not. I'm sorry. It's easier to just do it with one person. It's hard enough having kids with people, let alone multiple different people. But the mom didn't need to throw that in Ashley's face. But Ashley should have approached it differently. Just don't say, I don't want him giving money. You address your husband, Ashley, not his mama. Your finances, your couple, your household. If money's leaving your household to go to somebody else, then you address the person in your household. Because how is she going to stop taking the money? I wouldn't stop taking the money. If I had a son and he was cashing me out and had me with a credit card and access to the account, hell no, I'd keep taking the money too. So I'm not saying his mom's not wrong, but I wouldn't stop asking just because you don't like it. Because why don't you like it? Can they not afford it? Or is this money keeping Ashley from playing with her face with plastic surgery and shit? Like, I'm trying to figure it out. However, I do feel like Zay needs to man up. Grow the hell up, little man. Grow up. He needs to check his mama because his mom is mad disrespectful. And he needs to check his wife, but also listen to his wife. Because when you get married, you're one. Regardless of all that separate bank account, prenup, postnup bullshit, when you get married, you're one. So if you're going to be giving money to your mom like that and financing your mom, you need to be honest with your wife and say, listen, this is what I'm going to do. This is my mama. That's my boundary. But he has not done that. So it just shows me that the way that Ashley and Zane got together was some fuck shit. It was stupid. And it reflects in how the marriage goes. And the mom would respect the wife if the husband, the son, made the mom respect the wife. Because I promise you, my husband will not let nobody play with me. His older brother tried to play with me. My husband said, absolutely not. So I feel like they're just both wrong. And people do what you allow them to do in your marriage. And these two really need to work on that. We'll see if they do, child. We'll see. That don't make no sense. But I'm also looking at Zane's mom like, girlfriend, go get a job. Hi, Shani. Welcome in. Welcome in. Shani said, I take the money from my son in front of the wife and I look at her like, and what? That's why I say address your husband, Ashley, not his mom. Because would you expect her to say no to the money? No, of course not. Who would say no to the money? Especially from their child. You know, you ain't got to pay it back. It's guilt-free. Like, no. But the mom is doing too much, though. Zane's mom is wrong. She's wrong and she's disrespectful. But Ashley's also wrong because money and paternity of children, you don't come at people like that. So it's the Hot Mess Express, but hopefully it gets better. I do wish these people well. I do. Hi, DM Rocks. Off topic. Did you see Kiana unfollowed Wendy, but Wendy still follows her? No. I'm curious, though, because I haven't seen much about the Housewives of Potomac other than the fact that, like, everyone's like, Monique, 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 Giselle, Giselle, Monique, Giselle, Monique, Giselle, no Karen. And I'm just like, what else is happening on Potomac? Like, I'm hoping for a good season. Sometimes I feel like the Potomac ladies are too good with business. And so we get the seasons really fast, but Bravo like just rushes it. It feels like, if that makes sense. So hopefully this one will be better. Oh, thank you. I will tell him that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. We've been married 13 years, y'all, and I still like him, and I don't want to, you know, off him. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing, and I hope it stays that way. I hope it stays that way. Anywho, y'all, that was all that happened with this episode of Love and Hip Hop. I'm growing tired of this beef between Yandy and Rashida. They both ate shit. Potomac, James is preparing to come back in October. For some reason, he says he's going to cover Heart and Hustle Houston and Love and Marriage. Those will probably be off TV by then. But I know Salt Lake City will be back in September. I know he'll be covering Potomac whenever Potomac comes back. I'm trying to convince him to just get back online because, as you see, we just sit here. But we will see. He's got a lot going on. I think most people are on Yandy's side. Rashida doesn't realize she's a joke, or she realizes it and she just doesn't care. She just doesn't care. Oh, we talked about your 13 years and my 13 days before, twin. I love it. I love it. It shows everything is meant to be. I love it. I love it. Y'all, we are going to get into Miami next. I'm very behind with Housewives of Miami, so I'm going to do 2 episodes, the Uncivil and Severe, and unfollow or unfriend. But I appreciate and love all of you guys. I will be on time with recaps this week because I am caught up in school and all of that. And I'll see y'all for Housewives of Miami. Bye.